everybody can roll for initiative, and then since you started the combat, you have one turn, and then we play the initiative.
6.
Oh, nice. And we divide it by 2, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. It was already on the list. That's nice.
My initiative is 2.5. So Philip, you get to act twice this because you start the combat and then and in the order of initiative it's you again. So what do you do?
Okay, well I initially go out and I try and just stab the person closest to me, like just thrust my sword forward into their immediate area and hopefully catch them through the gut.
Okay, since you are leaving your hiding place, it's an advantageous position. So you can take in exchange for leaving this position a free prime.
Let's do heavy damage. That sounds fun.
Okay, so you will do 7 damage because you have the Ares aura. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. You slash at the man who's there. He screams in pain, a scream that echoes through the corridors and is echoed by his brethren who are now going to converge towards this place. But you have added a new scar to his collection and he falls to his knees in pain. And it's your turn again.
I'm at least going to render the other person in an not so nice scenario, so I'm just going to take my sword and also go after them.
Gotcha. Go ahead and roll.
Alright, damn.
Okay, she parries your sword and says, you can't always surprise us from the shadows. You did that to our master once, but now we're prepared for you. Stefan!
I'm still lying down in the coffin, right? And the lid is open, right?
Yeah, you can open the lid. It's a free action.
I will try to when I hear the sounds of battle and feel fighting, I will try to open the lid. And what do I see? Who is closest to me?
Closest to you is a man who's bleeding on his knees. One of the hooded devoured, and right next to the coffin is Philip furiously battling Janine de Villefort, the leader of the devoured.
Well, strike the strongest one, so I will help Philip fighting the leader, so I will hit it. I also have a sword, right? We all have a sword. Nope, I just was...
Yeah, she is able to block both of your attacks. Eric, it's your turn. What do you do?
Still not better in fight than before that we started.
No.
You should probably try to find a bow or another long-range weapon that you can use firearms with.
I'm gonna raise the skull higher and say, okay, now everybody calm down, just let us go, and we'll figure it out later.
Okay, you are rolling for leadership because you're trying to do an intimidation, and if you succeed, it will give penalties to Janine.
Leadership,
Leadership against her willpower.
Okay. Oh well.
Oh, I rolled nice. She is not intimidated by you. She hisses back at you and says, you're trying to provoke fear in me. You don't know what fear is. And she takes a step back from the reach of your swords, and she's been defending with her sword in her hand like this, and she switches the sword around and starts carving onto her body, and the wound she the wound she causes just tears through her clothes, and there's an enormous amount of blood that pours out of her, and this sort of illusion appears on top of her body where you can see a gray-skinned man getting torn apart, and the vision is so horrible that you all have to roll for willpower at -6, and if you don't reach a 12, you will be terrorized.
Yay.
Okay, so none of you succeed. So the sight is terrifying, and all of you are deeply stricken with fear, and you start to run as she laughs behind you. The last thing that you see of her in the corridor is that she is attacking herself with the short sword, but the more damage she does to her body, the more her wounds heal with the weird magic. It leaves the scars behind, but the scars close the more she does this. And at last, she puts a bit of blood on her short sword and gives it to the person who's next to her, and he takes it like he takes it in his hands as if it's a great honor and says, "I'll do my mission," and he starts running after you. When the terror of the scene calms down and you're away from this place, you have no idea where you are in the catacombs, and the devoured sound like they're closing in on where you are. You are now knee-deep in an underground river. You're in a room with 3 different exits and really out of breath. What do you do?
We are still together, right?
Yes, you're still together. You still have the skull.
How do we exit from the past? Willingly or?
No, you have to finish the story. You have to find a conclusion that solves the problem of this past life.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, just finding the skull isn't enough to solve this. Because otherwise you would be out already.
Sure.
I throw the skull violently over the wall to break it.
Okay. There's a crack that appears on the skull, and all of you roll for clairvoyance, please.
Okay, don't do that.
That's +5.
It's a powerful artifact.
Did you say at a difficulty or just a straight roll?
You have a bonus of 5.
Yeah, we
Okay.
all know he shouldn't do that, yeah.
Oh, damn.
Okay. All of you succeed. You hear a scream coming from inside of the skull when this happens, and some light karma is used. There were 3 points of light karma inside of it before, and now there's only 2 because the skull heals itself back into place. But you hear an anguished voice coming from inside of it that screams in pain.
Not a good idea. Okay, I understand.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
Also, another hour has passed because now the sunset is over, and now you're able to use clairvoyance again. And that means you're full. Your darkness karma is full, but you're not regenerating it anymore.
Can I grab the skull again and say, "Who's inside?"
Knock.
You can hear a faint voice coming from inside that says, "Please free me."
I almost want to break it to free it, but how? How do we do that?
Boy.
Find a Neo Hermes. They know. They have alchemies.
Do I know anything about the ritual he's talking about?
You aren't sure.
Or what does that mean when he says free me?
You see that alchemical symbols have been carved into the skull, so someone was trying to do an alchemical procedure to try to take the Deva out. Just like when you do your work in white, you find a way to break the Deva from the sun into yourself. And there's got to be a way to use alchemy to get this Deva out from its prison. It's just that it's going to take a lot of effort, a lot of research for you to achieve this. Off the wet walls of the underground cavern in which you are, you can see reflected the lights of the torches of the devoured coming nearer.
we should get a move on, get running.
Can we roll to try to figure out where we are and where's the exit?
Yes. Anyone who's trying this can roll for intellect to try to find their way again.
Follow
nice.
me.
23.
Okay. So both Eric and Stefan, you figure out that following the water might bring you back to the Seine. And so you don't have to go through one of the corridors. You might just need to hold your breath and dive into the water.
Will that be athletics?
No, that will be an endurance check to hold your breath long enough to make it out.
No, that's not gonna make it.
Yeah, that's the same for me.
There's no way I can succeed this. I have 0.
But you have karma. You have karma that can heal you. So even if you start drowning, you can use up your light karma to give you more vitality.
There's no other exit.
There are. You can run in another direction, but that will require an endurance test too, because you're exhausted. You've been running for a while, and the devoured are still running after you. But the good thing is that you'll be running against the devoured endurance, which is not that great either.
We don't want to take a dip in the water. We want to try and outrun them.
Isabel says, "All right, I don't think we're all going to make it out of here. One of us should stay behind to hold them off. Master Flamel, I think you have the best chance of freeing this entity from its skull. I haven't done my works. I won't be as useful to you. So just go. I'll try to hold them."
I just reach forward and I take one of her hands in both of mine and I just grasp it tightly and nod at her. And then I look back to my companions and give them a look of, well, we're going to do this.
I'm not sure she can, on her own, stand against them. So she will just give us a few seconds, nothing more.
Exactly. I'm not expecting any good if any of us stood in their way. So if we want her sacrifice to count, we have to move now.
No, let's try not to sacrifice anybody. Maybe we'll
Is there a way that we could block the corridor with maybe genre en créant un éboulement ou en détruisant de quoi pour que comme la moitié du corridor s'effondre?
Yeah, you could collapse part of this place. Yes, that is something that you could do. That would require you to find like a weak place, which would either be art, architecture, or crafts or science. One of these, and then you would need to roll weaponry and roll high enough to deal enough damage to be able to collapse this thing. Okay. And because this is a good idea, I'm giving +3 rolls on all of those actions. So
I can try to help you. Can I try to aid him? Explain the plan.
I'm not gonna just say out loud the idea. Let's just break something so everything will collapse.
Can I roll a craft to see if there is any loose wall or pillars or anything we can use?
Yes. Go ahead and roll crafts.
Oh shit!
I explode everything.
Oh my god!
That is 4 12s in a row, man.
You know that building called Dame in Paris? Yeah,
what?
It's just.
and technically, it's 67 because you forgot the +3.
Oh my god. Philip's just kind of standing there, like, now feeling like an asshole, like, ready to sacrifice this woman he just met, and then Stefan is just like, wait, no, I got this. Bam.
Yeah.
One hit, done.
Especially since you've got to take into account you're rewriting a verse, which means that your actions, Philip, as Nicolas Flamel, are written in history. They're what matter to
Right.
like your good and bad actions are really important here. So this was sort of a test to see if you were going to, and like you were really close. That was really interesting.
I was more scared of, like, I felt like a hopeless situation, so I didn't feel like arguing it because I felt like we were short on time. Mm-hmm. So that was more what went into it, like, not even less of, like, oh, like, you're not valuable, but, like, you know, like, just, we're short on time, we might lose this.
I totally
I'll
understand.
take whatever anybody can handle.
Yeah.
And so Phil's just like, all right, cool, time to die. And then Stefan is just like, never mind, I got this. And so Phil's like, oh great, now I'm the
Let's rebuild the place. Yeah.
Yeah. So Stefan, you just a few corridors away from there, you find this one stone that is at the center of a few just sort of archways. All of the weight of an entire section of Paris is on this one stone.
Oh, yeah.
If you collapse this, 4 buildings above you are going to collapse.
Yeah.
God.
So in fact, you did so well on your roll that I'm giving a +6 to the weaponry check to destroy it.
Okay, what do we need to do that?
Weaponry.
Yeah. Philip, you want to do that? Yeah.
Sure. Make up for me. Okay.
Okay.
Oh shit.
I mean, you can take your...
Even with a
darkness.
critical fail, that's pretty high.
Yeah. Yeah, you strike this place and you start to run as the entire catacombs are falling apart around you. Skulls that have been resting peacefully in this place are crushed in the stone, and behind you can hear the screams of the devoured getting plummeted by stones, even as those fanatics try to keep running after you, and you make it out of the catacombs. You exit through a part of the sewers. You arrive outside in the waters of the Seine, and above you the moon is shining very brightly, and the moon, and as you look up to the light of the moon, you can see there's the shape of an eye in this. It looks like the moon has an eye that is watching, and there's a sort of golden ray of light that is searching over Paris, and it stops on the place that has just collapsed, the buildings that have just collapsed, and then it moves along towards you, and there are people, the Parisians along the sides of the Seine, along the sides of this river. They're just minding their own business, and this intense golden light from the moon falls upon some of them, and they don't seem to notice it at all. And this golden light, looks a lot like the golden laser from the Gemini Observatory, and it's coming towards you. Your characters are just barely out of the pipe. You're knee deep in the water along the banks of this river. What do you do?
Do we know the place where Flamel lives, or somewhere that we can go?
Yes.
That is familiar to us?
Yes, you've done research on Flamel's life, so you know where he lives.
I don't think it's a good idea to go to the house of the person they're looking for.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah.
Isabelle says, we could always go to your secret laboratory, Master Flamel.
Perfect. Lead the way.
Yes. And she starts to walk, and the light falls on you, the golden light falls on you, and it's going to stay fixed on you, and Isabelle does not seem to does not notice it at all, and you know now that the Gemini Observatory is watching your actions. So as you're walking back towards the laboratory, what do you do?
Is that normal? Pointing the light, because my character have no idea what's this.
It's technically normal, but not what we wanted to happen. Just keep calm and don't do anything too stupid.
So what's this?
It means we're being watched. We're being observed back home.
Well, we need a rest and to gather our strength back, so let's listen to Isabelle and try to go to that secret place that Flamel had.
As you're walking through the streets of Paris, Do you talk to each other?
Man, it's so strange to ask Isabel anything. She suspects that we know everything she does. I'm trying to figure out how we can get some answers from her by not acting suspicious. Well, do we know anything about her?
Not acting direct questions.
Is she also part of this mission? Is she somebody who has Neo Hermes followers in due history?
She had some students, but her students all died out. You know that based on your research. And as you're walking, she turns to you, Stefan, and she said, by the way, Elizabeth, that was amazing what you did to collapse this. I'm very impressed about this. I did not know you knew this much about the.
Well, some of my family were builders, so I got some knowledge from them. I know something about buildings, and I will also tell her now that we have this powerful artifact that our master is searching for. Do you maybe know anything about the group of Cabal that we met down at the basement and the catacombs?
No, I know more about Bertrand, the Hermes who's been trying to hunt us for months. I didn't expect we were going to come across any other member of Eight.
What do you know about Bertrand?
He is an Anubis. He's been working to rid Paris and France of all of the Neo Hermes that are hidden here, and I'm afraid that he might have discovered some of our identities, especially Mr. Flamel, since he found the house where we were, which belonged to Jean Flamel, his brother, which we lost in the catacombs. He is ruthless, but we know that his headquarters are in the prison called Palais de la Cité. That's the Hermes headquarters here. That's where they bring all of their prisoners to interrogate them, to put them through the question, as you French people say, and that's where they have their alchemical labs too.
Is Bertrand working for some official channels, like for a queen or some kind of military, or he is just Hermes? Who does this prison belongs to?
Oh, the prison belongs to the crown, and it's used for political enemies and petty criminals. Bertrand is supposed to. I think his official post is that of a spy for the crown.
Mm-hmm. So he has connections.
Yes, we are almost there. We just it's just in a few streets.
Can we see if anybody is following us? Can we make some kind of perception, or
you can roll for vigilance?
Yeah, let's do that just for vigilance. Let me find it. I see. I'll just turn around. 11. No.
Eric, on the other hand, is able to see that you attract just a little bit of attention because Flamel is dressed rather nicely, and people seem to recognize him. But just no one is followed.
Okay, that's good. Then let's hurry to that safe place and continue then the conversation there.
I like this plan.
You arrive in this home. It's one of Isabella explains that it's one of the homes that Master Flamel has constructed to house the poor, but also under that house that he has given to the city of Paris is an underground secret lab where you can practice alchemies. You go through the secret trapdoor and you find yourself in another laboratory similar to the one you arrived in, except that there are alchemical diagrams all over the place. And some of them are very interesting. They catch your eye, Stefan, because you are a master of alchemy, and you can learn some alchemical powers that Flamel developed. And if you want to learn them, you can spend experience points to learn how to use them properly. I'm letting you read to see what they do. Whenever you have like a minute if you want to read them, you don't have to read all of them right now. Anyways, your characters settle down in this lab, and Isabelle takes a breather, says, this has been a long day. I'm going to brew us some tea. And she starts to make tea with there's a complex glass, like there's like this glass thing that makes loops like this, like for alchemy. And she starts to make tea in one of these, like, she makes tea, like, in a very alchemical fashion. Like, it's way more complex than it needs to be. And the tea that comes out of it tastes horrible. But she offers some to each of you.
I take it.
So you said it was evening, right?
Yes, it's at night.
So we can use this night to rest. I will need to wait till morning. I'm missing my hit points, my health, and the karma. So, well, I cannot heal if I don't have light karma, right?
Darkness karma can heal both of your lower lines. So darkness karma can heal both wounded and unconscious. Mm-hmm. So if you had any points missing in wounded and unconscious during the night, during the sunset, then you could have healed them. And during sunrise, you'll be able to heal all of the bruised. Anyways, there's more than 8 hours in the night, so you recover all of the bruised points anyways.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay, so Stefan goes to sleep. You are. It's going to be weird for you to sleep in this body because it's just like it just feels different having to find like a comfortable position in a body that's very different from the one you have, but you still manage to get some rest.
Yeah, it's just an adjustment, and yeah. Before I go to sleep, I just mutter something about soup. Like as I'm drifting off into sleep, just soup.
I'm gonna rest too.
Hi everyone, and thank you for watching this video. If you want to be a part of this story, we are currently looking for more players and game masters to play new games in this setting and on this channel. You can also be a part of the story by having your face added to the cast of characters. I draw all of the images for this game, and you can commission me to make you into an NPC. If you like the style and you want a drawing like that of yourself, or if you want to contribute to the project, you can contact me through the links in the description. Finally, if you want to keep up with all of the adventures on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so you can get a notification each time we upload the next episode of this story. And it would be very nice of you to like and share the video to help this channel grow. Have a nice day, everyone.